It would be, 40 years ago, I suppose. Yeah, be 40 years ago. But I had a lot to learn because I found out then that it didn't just flow off the end of the brush. The brush is just something that applies the paint, if you like, but most of the work is up in here, and then it just transferred to your hands, and you go from there. Well, then, of course, there's also a lot to learn because you think you know it all when you first start, and then you suddenly find out, wow, I don't know very much at all.
So what about when you were at primary school, secondary school? Were you one of the arty kids who always won the prize?
Yes, I was. I was always, would you believe, top of the class. But even then, it didn't twig to me, that was at primary school, it didn't twig to me that that would be my career.
But I'm guessing that when you were a youngster, you didn't go home and say to your mum and dad, I want to grow up and be an artist.
No, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I can remember my mum saying to me once, I was sitting out in the back deck, and she said, she used to call me Ranny. She said, Ranny, what would you like to do? And I said, well, I don't know. Well, her father was a seaman, a captain on a boat or something, way back in Ireland or somewhere. And she said, would you like to go to sea? And I thought, oh, I like the water and I like boats, but I don't know. I didn't know what I wanted. And it wasn't until some years later I really found out that if you've got something like this that you keep on turning to, then you should join it. You should get onto it and go for it.
So there were kids who would want to, in their free time, go and play rugby or footy of some sort. Yeah. You wanted to pick up a...
I wanted to pencil and do some sketching. And when I first met my wife, which is going back a long way now, 62 years ago, and we would go riding on our bikes and this sort of thing. She'd say, take a sketch pad and a pencil, you know, you might find something you want to draw. So she encouraged me right from then. And she must have seen something in me that I didn't even know about as far as that was concerned. So that's the way it went, and one thing after another, you know, things just fall into place, if you like. But, it's a mind-blowing experience because here am I trying to imitate God's creation, if you like, on a bit of canvas and trying to make it look like 3 dimensions instead of 2. And when I'm actually painting like this, I feel a little bit like, dare I say it, a bit like God himself, in as much that I can create this whichever way I want. And like it says in Genesis, when he finished creating, he looked at it and said, and it is good. And I can look at it and say, yes, I like that.
Now, did you see this painting that you're doing now? Have you already seen it finished in your head?
Oh, yes, yes. It's as clear as it ever will be. It's all there. All I'm doing is dragging it out and putting it on there.
So this painting that you're doing here for us at Rima Media, have you physically been to this place before?
Yes, I have, yes, yes.
Where is it?
This is a place called Wet Jacket Arm in Fiordland, and it runs off Breaksea Passage. This mountain here, with the snow on it, there's a passage runs through here from the Tasman out here on the right-hand side and runs right through here to, I don't know the name of the sound, I've just forgotten, in here. And this passage here, which is about 10 miles inland, runs up here towards me. It's called Wet Jacket Arm. And it's called Wet Jacket Arm because when Captain Cook sailed through there, he dropped off some of his crew and said, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, fellas. Enjoy. Well, near enough. And so they had nothing, nowhere to stay or anything, no motels or anything. So they lived in a cave. And it rained, it hailed, it snowed, it blew, it did everything. So it was called Wet Jacket Arm. That's how the name came about. and it's the same today.
Must have been a good day you were there then.
Oh yes, I got it organised, tell you.